it's been a blast. I would never go back to competing as much as I loved it.
I will say, as a
But
lifter, you do get pretty good at cooking. You get very experienced. If you are dedicated to the gym, you will become a great fucking cook. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Galaxy Podcast. This is episode 23, and today we are actually joined with the owner of Control. How are you going, my man?
I'm doing great. One of three owners. Just want to preface that just so I don't get a text message later.
That is true. One of three.
One of three.
But we're doing everybody individually. We will do a big group one eventually. But we're going to try and get everybody's individual stories out, and then we can get a big group together and have a good time with everybody here. So,
Oh, it's gonna be entertaining.
oh, I can't wait. I think it's going to be fun.
Well, a little bit's fun story, but I've known TJ or Snoopy for going on 12 or 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've known TJ that long, and then Brian, which is the third one, I know him personally. He lives probably about 20 minutes from me. So whenever I get bored, I just come over and knock on his door. So it's going to be kind of entertaining with some of the stories that you're going to hear.
Oh, yeah. I have, I don't know if you heard of a guy named Lego. He actually,
Hmm.
he just created his own esports team, Boom Esports. And
Okay.
he was with, I forget who he was with. It was like some Savage esports team. I've never heard of him, but we were originally on Galaxy because, well, to throw it all back, I used to own my own esports team back in high school. Me and Lego created it together. He stepped away, and then I took it over completely. And then once I got away from that and I got back into gaming, I went to Galaxy. Ended up stepping down from there. I went to general manager there, and then I stepped down and I went out over and helped Golden out, and then now I'm here. So, but he's really smart in that category, but uh, he's done a lot, especially just me gaming in general, because he helped me compete and stuff like that. He got me into esports. We actually went to high school together. We met in 5th grade, but he moved away a little bit far. He's probably about 45 minutes away now, but
Yeah.
I know how I feel on
You
that
know,
part.
I used to have somebody like that. So I was competing for probably 8 or 9 years. I stopped competing. I want to say it was back in 2020, 2021, when I was just graduating college because I was like, you know what, hey, it's time to get a job.
Hmm.
Um, when I first started competing, though, I had a friend of mine who was in high school with me, and this was going to be way back in the day. This is when I met TJ. So this was back when Farico was just like the big name group. Everybody's joining it. I joined Farico. That's where I met TJ. I played against their Netherland team and everything else. There was like this big it was called the in-house. It was a big tournament, all these different it was just like a almost like an open bracket
Mm.
for whoever wanted to do it. Me and my buddy who I started playing with, started competing with, we both went into that. And we were just it was just dominating the time, just dominating the competition at the
Hmm.
time. It was really fun. Then I got picked up by TJ, and then just stuff happens, and that was it. But no, it's fun. You meet a lot of people along the way,
Oh yeah.
and a lot of people over the years.
So what did you
Um,
used to compete in?
Call of Duty.
Okay.
So I did compete. I did try to compete in Halo Infinite
Hmm.
when that game first came out, but doing it was like the first major tournament, and I was sitting there and I was watching all the top players play and everything, and I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm gonna even. These guys have been playing for half of my life. I was like, there's no way I could compete in that. But no, I started playing. I competed in Black Ops 2 all the way through to 2020, 2021. and I was just a strictly Call of Duty. Absolutely loved the old games. Absolutely hate the new ones. Absolutely hate them.
I know how you
I just
feel.
cannot stand playing these new games. They're
What killed it for
horrible.
me was Modern Warfare back to back. That's what killed it for me. The Modern Warfare's back to back remastered.
Yeah,
Those killed it for me. That's the last time I played COD.
they a lot of times it was very fun. In my opinion, the pubs started going really down when they started helping newer players
Mm-hmm.
or SBMM. Once you started throwing that into the mix, it's like it wasn't even fun. You know, I loved the way the Black Ops 2 ranked play was set up was phenomenal. It's one of the reasons why I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just it's all over the place. It's a mess. I and you know the biggest thing they always talk about is people that cheat, that are
Mm-hmm.
cheating in the games, and you know every couple lobbies you get somebody who's cheating, and I'm like, "Dude, I just gotta stop."
Yeah, it was fun when I competed. Obviously, I didn't compete very long. I actually competed after my prime, which was not the best thing to do because I my best was back in Black Ops 3 and then Modern Warfare 2019, and I didn't start competing until Cold War and Vanguard, and
Mm,
I wasn't the best then, and so that's when I ended up taking over and running a team myself that did all right, not the best, but uh, all right for a high school student. As a 16-year-old high school student, it did
yeah.
pretty good. But uh, to go into that, how did you start uh, your esports team?
So there was three of them that I was on. Obviously, in controls, then one that I'm on
Mm-hmm.
currently. Uh, in Unite Gaming was the one that I was previously, and I still own, but I don't do anything with.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not even tell you the name of the first one. Um, I was competing for a long time, and then after I got done competing, I was like, "Hey, you know what? I'm stepping back. I don't want to do this anymore. Game's not fun." The owner of the team at the time was like, "Well, hey, if you don't want to do it, do you want to help manage and coach and do all this?" So I said, "Sure." Had a really fun time coaching. I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely loved it. The problem with it is, you know, when you're coaching somebody and you're like, you know, they're messing up, and they're like, no, I'm not, and it's like, well, yeah. Um, so then I went into buying Unite Gaming out,
Okay.
and that was probably one of my bigger purchases. That was a huge step for me
Mm-hmm.
in actually owning it because I've never had any experience owning. I've never had any experience running everything. And it was growing, it was growing. It grew quite a bit. I was trying to get it back on its feet because it was an old Call of Duty team. It started dying off, not really dying off. I had a lot of people that got mad at me because I removed them from the org because I was trying to go a different way and not focusing on this content but doing this. And that's when TJ reached out to me and said, "Hey, you know, I've been watching what you've been doing. Do you guys want to come and basically close your doors, join up on me?" And I told him, I said, "You know what?" I said, "I'll do that." I said, "But I want to bring over two of my own people that I absolutely love and trust with all my heart."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's been like ever since. And it's been a blast. I would never go back to competing
Mm-hmm.
as much as I loved it.
Yeah, I will say competing is a hassle, and I will say coaching is probably a hassle as well. And just trying to
Oh yeah.
find players to team with, or just trying to find players in general is a hassle, especially if you
Hmm.
lose like one or two, then you're down a team, and and just trying to find a fit to put somebody in there. And I've never been at probably in controls level, but I've had a team where uh, I've had multiple COD teams, Warzone, Rebirth, uh, Overwatch. No, I didn't get an Overwatch. It was Rocket League, Halo. I'm forgetting one, but I had multiple games and I had captains for them. And then if I lost a captain, trying to find the captains, and then I have to be the captain. And well, I'm trying to do my other job. It's kind of hard, and
Oh yeah.
I definitely
No,
know how you feel.
it's it's crazy. And back when we were at our highest, we had a lot of Warzone players. We were running our own events. This was under Unite. We had our own events. We had a lot of Warzone players. I want to say we had an Overwatch team. We had a Halo team and everything else. And a lot of it I was managing and I was trying to like figure out, like trying to set up
Hmm.
everyone's schedule. Like, hey, you guys are supposed to be screaming these guys. You guys are, and it was crazy. Um, it's something that I absolutely love though. Because it's a lot of opportunities.
Oh yeah,
Like I will. Do you follow Call of Duty now?
a little bit, not as much as I used
Okay.
to.
You may believe me, you may not believe me. I would love to have go back and show the screenshots and the messages and everything else. Years ago, oh, do you know Ghosty?
Hmm.
Oh, Dan Ghosty. Years ago, he was 17, I want to say it was. He was 17 and he was very hesitant on actually getting back into playing video games. And I knew him and I had a team of three. It was me, it was Jinx and Twisted. It was probably my like best team of three I've ever had. Like if I knew in any team that was gonna do something, it was gonna be this set of three. And I was talking to Ghosty that they were all in the same group of friends, whatever, and I had the chance to pick him up. And he was like, "Here's some of my old stuff. Like, this is me playing in AW when I was able to compete before they set it to 18 and older." And I could not even recall what entirely happened, but I was just we weren't able to do it. And he only wanted 300-400 bucks a month. Now I would
Hmm.
love to pay him now that much, but it was I was like I kick myself all the time because I'm like, dude, I should have taken that chance. He's like, I was like, he had everything, he showed everything, and I'm like, it's rough.
I mean, it's hard, especially when I don't know how far along you were, but like financially wise, some things are kind of hard, especially for early teams. And
Yeah,
like Golden with acrylic, he was young running that. I was young running Frosted, and that team I invested very little money into that team, and that's one thing people don't understand, that when you own an organization, you people do it because they think they're going to make money. They don't understand that you got to invest money to make money, and you're going to lose money to make it too. And the
absolutely.
possibility of getting out on top is very low. But
As much I spent thousands of dollars getting Unite back on its feet, and over the period of the time between all of the countless hours of trying to set up things, trying to find teams, trying to find players for them, doing everything, um, hosting events, giveaways, everything. It's like just to get on your feet in an esports organization, you're at $10,000, if not more, just to find a stable grounding. And that's not even contracting players.
yep.
That's where the big money comes in because as soon as you got to find a team that's that's good. Then you like, hey, you know what? I can contract these players in. They did really good. That's when you can make your money because then it's like, hey, this pro team wants to pick up this player. Well, hey, this is how much you owe me if you want to try to pick them up.
Hmm.
But no, I mean, you're spending thousands of dollars a year on something that you don't even know if one day you'll ever get back. But I do it just because I love esports. And I love
Hmm.
being able to sit there and watch on the stream and they'd be like, in control just won this map, in control winning, everything else. It makes me feel good. I'm like, that's what we're doing.
Hmm.
I love it, but it's an investment. It's a long-term investment.
Yeah, it's a big investment, and then it's not money too. It's also time.
Oh yeah.
And I was being kind of a two sport athlete. I powerlifted and played football in high school. That just once that came back around, it just didn't pan out. And I had some captains and general directors or general managers, I mean, to help run it for me. But it's not the same as you running it, in my opinion. But you got to find the right people,
You
especially.
know, yeah, there's a reason that, and this might be just my opinion,
Hmm.
and everybody's got one. Running your own business, you will do 10 times more and 10 times better than somebody else running it because it's your neck in the game.
Hmm.
You know, it's when your name's on the line, you're going to do so much more and so much better because if anything happens, if something fails, that guy's not on the other guy's not liable for it all. You're liable for it all.
Hmm.
And that's one thing I've noticed. And nobody's going to run it just as good as the owner.
Oh yeah, but if you want to grow, you got to contract out, and
Yes.
you got to put the right person in the right job. Uh, and some people are too quick to put somebody in the right job. That's a crappy spot to be in. But if I could go back from what I know, because now I'm kind of a co-owner in the family business, I've learned a lot more, and I've studied business too. If I could go back from what I know now and do it all over again, I'd probably still have my esports team today. But me remembering how much time I put into that and how much little time now that I have now, no. And I would have done content creation now because since I started content creation, I didn't have content creation back then. I was a one viewer streamer back then. It just started picking up this year, but maybe it's just me that I'm focusing on content creation now, but I wouldn't own an esports team. Usually, when people tell me they want to start one, I'll tell them that it's an investment. You got to do it. And they said they want to earn money doing it. I said, you can't do it for the money. If you want to do it for the money, you need to grow your resume and work for a actual esports team and grow your resume there and then work your way up the pyramid from there.
Oh yeah. Okay, well here, what is your family business? If you don't
Mechanic
mind me
shop.
asking. Uh where are you what state are you out of?
Indiana.
What part?
Northern.
Northeast, north central, or northwest?
North Central.
Okay, so like New Carlisle.
I'm an hour north of Indy.
So you're probably like Kokomo.
Yep.
Is that the actual town?
Mm-hmm.
Been there once.
Oh, for real?
Um, yeah, no, actually, I live in Indiana. I live up in Northwest Indiana.
Okay.
So that's funny. My family actually, it's not my parents, it's my uncle. He owns a mechanic shop.
Mm-hmm.
We do a mechanic shops, impounding cars, all sorts of stuff, and I'm tr getting into the family business.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have a degree in finance, which is where it's kind of helping me a lot. But, it's like taking everything, because we were talking about taking everything we know and going back. If I could take everything I know today and go back to myself when I was 14, 15 years old, I would 100% not own.
Oh yeah.
I would never have done that first coaching, managing stuff. I would 100% have stayed competing, but focused on content as well.
Content's where
Because
it's at, in my opinion.
content is 100% where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because, and it kind of goes together, because if you're just doing content, you don't get your name out there as much. Where you get your name out there is, at least for my opinion, when I was doing tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was just scrimming, I had 3, 4, 5 viewers watching my Twitch. Normally, they were my friends watching me, my coach, whatever it was. When I was doing competitions and tournaments and everything else, that's when I was getting 30, 40 viewers. Chat was active, viewers were active. Everyone's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, how's it going? What's the map count? What's this? What's that?" They're trying to watch it, especially when you started getting the people that would watch your streams to try to get your strats because
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Hey, we're playing you next. We need to see what you're doing."
Yep.
I would 100% go back and be like, "Hey, go content." I have a nephew. He's 15 years old, and he keeps telling me, he's like, "Hey, I wanna get into competitive this and competitive that, and I want to get into streaming and this and that." And I told him, I said, "Hey, if you're ever serious enough where you want to do this," I said, "you let me know. I'll get you everything that you need." I said, "You will get a computer, you will get your monitors, controller, everything that you need to get started. But you have to take it seriously."
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I was like, and it might just be because we were kids, but I didn't take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
TJ can tell you some stories about I definitely did not take it serious when I first met TJ. He hated me for years because of what I did when I was like 15. I first met him.
Hmm.
Yeah, I chose girls over games.
I won't say that I'm a hater of that one. I mean, the past couple streams, I've had a new girl over, and I've had to push back stream back a little bit, but
Nah, see, if it's my time to game, that girl's gonna sit over there on that bed and she
that
gonna wait for me to get done doing what I'm doing.
is true.
I've had, you know what, I've when I was 15, and it was probably one of my most impactful tournaments. It was me, TJ, and two others, and we were just getting ready for a big tournament and do this girl. I don't know, I was 15, I was young, dumb, and in love, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" And I was like, "Damn straight." And I was like, "Hey, TJ, I gotta go do something." Oh, I don't remember. I don't know how long it took him to talk to me after that because of how pissed he was.
Oh yeah.
Because I left probably within like I left within an hour notice. Now I look back on it, I'm like, that's a horrible for me. That was a horrible teammate
Was
for
that like a
me.
game that you had coming up that you left?
Yeah,
Damn, I wouldn't have left for that
I
one.
had no. See, listen, I was like, when I was like in love with this girl, my sophomore year.
Okay.
Excuse me, my sophomore year, I was like in love with this girl. I was do anything for this girl, and then like I don't know, like a month later we broke up. So,
That's how it is
you
though.
know, it is, dude. Listen, I listen to my nephew sometimes, and my nephew's. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with this anymore. My nephew, every couple weeks, he's like breaks up with this girl, and now he's dating this girl, and it's like
I'm
drama
20. I know
this,
how it
drama
feels.
that. Oh man, you know more. You know more recently than I do.
I'm right. I'm right in the middle of it.
Yeah, I bet. It's been a while since I've been in high school. That's all I'm gonna say.
But
Um, but he's like, "Hey, I got this girl." Like he's trying to, and then every couple times he's like asking me, he's like, "Hey, do you mind being the cool uncle and taking me and my girlfriend out to here and do this?" Because he can't drive yet. But oh God, no, it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts,
I
man.
mean, like,
But if
it comes down to, especially when you get older and you mature, you really like thin them out, and you really like tell
Mhm.
like. I used to weigh 330 pounds, so now I weigh about 200, and since I've lost weight, I've gotten more girls that want to be with me, or I've had more attractive girls want to be with me. And I've been like, I'm ready to settle down. I own my own house at 20 years old. I'm ready to settle down and have a wife and kids. All my family's done it young. I want to do it young. But I I got to pick the right one. A lot of people pick the wrong ones and then they get a
Yep.
divorce. Like hell, my buddy, he had a kid right out of high school. They're not together anymore. I've had like three
Like,
or four buddies have kids out of high school,
oh,
and only one is still with them.
I could go into some. I so I'm single. I'm. Take a guess. How old do you think I am?
25.
I'll take that. I'm 28.
Okay.
So, I'm single, and I'm the youngest of three kids. I have two older brothers. Both of them are one's married, one's going through divorce. My oldest brother finally met the girl that he married and has kid with when he was 33. My middle brother was the exact opposite, okay? He was 17, 16 actually
Oh.
when she got pregnant.
Oh.
And they were on and off rocky road, man, all throughout high school, all after high school. They had three kids together. They finally get married, and then I don't know, like 6 months into the marriage, she's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this no more." And I'm like, dude, you guys spent 12 years on and off. You finally get married, and now she doesn't want to do this anymore. I'm like, what the? And
Then it comes to legal
no,
issues.
oh, don't even get me started.
And then
This
the
they're
money.
like battling all over the place. Custody this, payments this, doing this. I'm like, dude, it's like a war zone over
It
there.
makes me not want to get married when I hear horror stories like that. It's
Yes,
just like, I'm
yes.
out.
And I tell my brother that all the time. I'm like, I'm so glad that all I have to do is come over to your house because I said, whatever mood I'm in, you guys completely change it. If I'm in the mood where I'm like, dude, I'm ready to settle down. I want to get my own family. I just come over and babysit your kids because they completely change that. My nephews and my niece are complete hell, to say the least.
The kids part isn't
Um,
my issue. It's just like the scarcity of losing everything. The family
oh,
business.
100%.
Losing the family business. The house that I work for, I bought at 19 years old. My truck, my car, my
Yep.
four-wheeler.
Yep.
God
She can take
dang.
everything. She can take half of everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's one of my big things with it is I actually not my most recent ex, my ex before that, actually she was the one girl that I was like the closest to marrying. And we started off amazingly, and I was like, damn, I said this really could be the girl. And something I always wanted to do was join in the military. So I ended up leaving, and I mean, like I had to leave for basic and AIT and everything else, and that was horrendous. And the whole time I was down there, I was so miserable. The whole time I'm down there, um, she's out partying and out drinking and all this other stuff, like things that she never did when I was there. And I was just like, I came back and I was like, yeah, I don't want to get married to you. If this is how the fuck you're acting, I was like, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
I'm not at the stage. I was past the stage of partying and drinking and all this other stuff and going out super late. That's where she was getting into because she's like, hey, this is kind of fun. Like, hey, that's fine. You know what? No
That
hate to
scares me
you.
when I hear that.
Well, here's the thing. There's something you'll learn as time goes. You might have already learned it. Once you get to that point where you're like, hey, no hard feelings. We're just not on the same path. That's it. Boom, cut it off. Once you realize that, then that's okay. It happens. And that's what I did. I was like, you know what? This is what you want to do. That's fine. That's not what I want to do. Like I wake up at 4 in the morning every day, eat breakfast, to go to the gym, to work out, to go to work. I'm normally asleep by 8 o'clock, except on Fridays when I go out for a little bit. Not many people like to do that.
Nope.
A lot of people want to stay up late, they want to do whatever, and I'm like, that's fine. That's good for you, but it doesn't fit my lifestyle. I mean, hell, my cousin, he is. I never expected to because he's kind of he was growing up. He was the taller, dorky kind. I mean, like, band guy, Dungeons and Dragons, all sorts of kind of stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's dorky. I mean, whatever. Hey, do whatever makes you happy. But he was never that kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was with this girl for 3 years, living with her. They had their own place, all this stuff. 3 years. And one day he just texted my aunt, goes his mom, and goes, "Hey, I need you to come help me." She's like, "Okay, cool. What's up?" He goes, "Oh, I'm breaking up with her." And she's sitting there like, "What happened?" He goes, "I don't know." He goes, "I just don't see this working anymore. She wants to do this, or this is how she wants to live. This is how I want to live. We've tried to bring it together and work on it together, and it's just not working." He goes, "I just don't want it. I don't want to deal with this anymore." I'm like, she's at work. They come over. They clean out their car. They clean out their stuff, their whatever, their house, their apartment. He drives to her work, walks up to her. She's all excited and everything, and he goes, "Hey, here's your key back. We're breaking up," and then like walked out. I'm like, damn. I was like, I gave him a high five after that. I was
Damn.
like, good for you.
I don't know, man. That's some shit's wild, but
You just gotta find the right girl. That's all it is. Um,
especially
you know,
I don't know. I've had some experiences.
it's hard. It's hard. They all lie.
Yeah,
Everybody lies.
everybody lies. I mean, you want to be the best person for somebody, so why not lie? I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
fuck.
I'm gonna make you think I'm the best person until you see what
Yeah, I'm
actually happens behind the
exactly.
scenes.
You got yeah, I got tons of money. I own all this house. Hell no, bro. I don't got tons of money.
I'm I'm broke as shit and I'm cheap as hell.
Yeah. That's why I'm on a diet all the time. Not for powerlifting, but
Yeah.
so I don't overeat.
Yeah.
I don't
So I
overeat or
don't
go out
waste
to
all that
eat.
money. Yeah, so I don't waste all that money. Yeah, I know. I get you, trust me. It's like, I always have money if I want to go do stuff, and it's like, hey, it's like if a friend of mine invites me out, I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll go out with them. And they're always like, dude, how do you always have money? And I'm like, because I'm cheap. I
Hmm.
don't do much until somebody invites me out.
Yep.
It's like I drive a 12-year-old truck and a 13-year-old car for a reason.
Hmm.
You know, the newest and the nicest thing that I have is my motorcycle, and it's a just a little Honda Rebel 500. It's like it's not expensive, but it gets
Hmm.
what I want to do, and if I want to go on a bike ride, I go on a bike ride. It's not going to cost me a crazy amount.
That's what's cost me the much. I just bought
Oh,
this on
your phone?
Memorial Day. 1200
Yeah,
brand new iPhone 16
yeah,
Pro Max.
yeah. Phones are expensive,
Yeah, but I
but
needed it.
even then, I got one too.
Yep.
But
You gotta
I
have
got
one at
like
this point.
the smallest. What is it, like 256 gigabytes or something like that? That's the
Yep.
smallest you can
That's
get.
the
Yeah,
smallest
that's
now.
all that's on here. That's all that's on here is the littlest because I'm like, no, I'm cheap. I
Hmm.
ain't spend that kind of money on a phone.
But yeah, I mean, it's hectic. Any way you go in life is going to be hectic. Whether it's
Yeah.
owning a business, working for somebody, being single, being with somebody, it's just going to be hectic. Life is hectic, and you got to grow up
Mm-hmm.
someday. Some people don't grow up, and
Yeah.
it's like one of my last exes. She was like, I'm still a kid." I'm like, "We're graduated from high school."
Oh, that don't mean nothing though. Come on now. I've
I don't know,
I
man.
no 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 no.
I
Come
some
on.
people
All
are
right,
mature.
listen.
I'm more mature than people my age, and
There you go.
but like when I look at other people and then they're like 19, they say they're still a kid. I'm just like, are you are you kidding me?
Ones that are just gonna get into the partying stage.
Hmm.
I don't know if my camera's set. Hold on.
It froze.
Ah, let's see what's going on. Okay. But those are the ones that are just getting into the party phase where they're like, "Oh, I'm kids, I'm a young." They want to be immature.
Mm-hmm.
I've had I dated a girl that was like had her shit together more than I have, and I'm like, "Damn." It depends. It all comes and goes. And like you said, everything's hectic. When you want to own your own business, being the boss is a 24/7 job
Yep.
because in the middle of the night, when you get a phone call and say, "Hey, this needs to be taken care of," you're gonna go take care of that. Like weird as it is, guys, my camera frozen again.
A little bit.
I have no. When it comes down to it, you got to take care of what you got to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
I what's going on with it, nor wise. Two side businesses, and I do my games and whatever, and I find my time to do all that. And it's like I'm always constantly working,
Yep.
and a lot of the times people don't like it. You know, I've met girls and I met people that have worked more than I have because they want to achieve more, and I've seen people that just want to work 40 hours because they're like, "Hey, I make enough money to live the lifestyle that I want. That's all I'm going to do."
Mm-hmm.
But it just depends on what they want to do.
I mean, the sky's the limit. It really is. Uh, some people set the bar real low. They just want to live a comfortable life. They want to be able to do what they want whenever they want. They want to work, come home, be able to get a beer, and sit on the couch, watch TV, and they live a comfortable life. Live in the city, live in a smaller home, but I'm not like that personally. I gotta live in the city, obviously, because that's where the cheaper houses are and where I'm from. But
In the city,
from where I'm from, I had to. I mean,
it's cheaper in the city out there to live like in the city than
mm-hmm. Yeah, that
expensive to live in the city.
really.
Hmm.
For me,
But
I don't know why. It's just cheaper. It's usually if you want to live in the country. A lot of the houses are bigger in the country too, and
yeah, but you also probably have a lot more land.
yeah, a lot of it's connected to a lot of land.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the better schools are outside of the city too. So that's also another thing, which is weird as hell. I would think the best would be the city
Schools
school,
would be in the city.
but
Yeah.
it's from where I'm from, the outsides are better than the inside. So I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's really
See,
weird.
it is. I actually lived in the downtown portion of my city for a majority of my life, 21 years.
Hmm.
I lived downtown, right around the corner from the middle school. And I've been living out here on the outskirts of town for about 7. And I, dude, I love it. It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot quieter. It's not as hectic. I don't have to listen to trains all day. I don't have to listen to fire trucks, squad cars, nothing flying by. It's so much nicer out. But I mean, once you get into the land and the size of things, I mean, you can do so much more out in the country than you can in the city.
Oh yeah, but
But I actually live, I live in one of like the worst towns, next to one of the worst towns in the state,
hmm
and it's de depending on where you want to go outside of downtown. Like if I wanted to go more towards I don't want to say the bad side of town, but if I want to go more towards the one side of town, you can get a lot more land and a
hmm
big house for cheap, but it's like, well, your car might get broken into once in a while.
yeah, it's just like where I'm
And
from. The north side, if you go to the north side, you hell there's reportings of bullet holes in the side of people's houses. And
yeah,
I don't want to be a part of that.
I our area is the west side of our town is not isn't the bad side, but it's where it gets to the town. And I'm on the north side, away from most of across the street from. If it happens again, I'm gonna leave and come back. I live right across one of the sheriffs, actually, a deputy. Across,
You're
and their house is like damn near Fort Knox. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, there guess that's a ballsy dude. Like you walk down the street and you're like, hey, I know there's a sheriff right here, but I see this car I'm gonna break into. It's like, okay, kudos to you. But I guess every city, every state has I guess the bad side of towns where it's like, you know, I wouldn't go through this town unless I know I had my gun on me. But,
yeah. It's a part of it, and it's just what it is. But to really dive back into the esports,
yeah,
so
we got sidetracked a little bit.
how is In Control going now, and how is that going to be going into the future? What's the next step from here?
Uh, In Control's going good, actually. We have picked up a lot of teams recently in CS:GO, Overwatch. I want to say we're looking at a couple Apex teams.
Hmm.
Um, I want to say we currently have one in North America, and I want to say it's going to be flip flop. It could be flip flop. So we have one in North America, but I think we're picking up one in Mexico. One of those two teams are supposed to be a top team in their region.
Hmm.
And that's one of the next things we're picking up and we're in talks with. And so from what we're going to be doing is now that we have a lot of good streamers, we have a content manager, we have all this stuff lined out, and we're going to be continuing to focus on more teams. Is as soon as the opportunities arise where it's like, hey, we got a top 16 team in this game, we're building and we're building our sponsor deck.
Hmm.
I believe that's what it's called. But it's going to be like the sponsor deck. We're going to go and we're going to start talking to these different companies, trying to find sponsorships to bring in more funding so that we can continue to grow it.
Hmm.
Um, because I don't know how much or how long you've known In Control, but they used to have like a really good several teams.
Hmm.
They used to have a top Rainbow Six team. They used to have a really good Call of Duty, several good Call of Duty teams. And we want to get back there. We want to get back on main stage. We want to get back into being a top competitor in the different esports, competing against rosters like Evil Geniuses, LG, Optic, FaZe, all of those. Granted, it's as long as you could. To me, as long as you could play against them,
Hmm.
that's still better than nothing.
Oh yeah.
But one day the end goal is to get back to being at least somebody that's named in that area.
That's obviously a goal for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, it's just hard to own an esports team now because everybody wants to do it,
And
and then the
everybody
players.
either wants to do it or the big problem that we have, um, that I've had personally in Unite and that we have now, is everybody wants something for nothing.
Oh yeah.
You know, I've had this problem back, all the way back in Unite, but you had people that were like, "Hey, I'm a top 128 team. I want full funding."
Yep.
And it's like, my guy, you're not worth
I
full
was just
funding.
about to mention all of this.
Um,
I've heard this from
you know,
every owner, every single one
yes,
of
we
them.
have that all the time. Every couple weeks, we have a team come up and they're like, "Hey, we place top 64. We want full funding." And it's like, yeah, but you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
I've had a team. This was back when a lot of teams, you know how a lot of teams used to go and they would compete in Call of Duty, but they also competed in Halo. So they kind of just kept flip flopping with their teams. There was a team that was, they were really, I want to say they were like a really like top 32 team in Call of Duty. And they're like, hey, we're going to go to this Halo event. Can you guys sponsor us? I really thought about doing it. And I'm like, hey, this is a top 32 team. Like, they're not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And they get DFR'd at Halo. I'm like, well, I'm really glad I did not
Hmm.
put that money into that team. And it's nothing against the teams, but back when I played, granted it was 8, 10 years ago, back then it was one of those, we don't want funding until we prove ourselves.
Yep.
But now everybody wants fundings, then they'll prove themselves. And it's like you can't do it that way. You can't.
It's all about the money
You're
anymore.
just you're gonna waste so much money if you play it that way. You're gonna waste so much money because you gotta first of all you gotta find a team that's gonna put that kind of money out, who can gamble that kind of money,
Mm-hmm.
and even then, those teams don't make that money back. You
You
know,
got to trust the team. You got to actually have a team and then build it. Then you can ship
mhm.
them out. But
the biggest the biggest regret that I have, and if I knew what I knew now, I would have done it differently. Is when Clayster a couple years ago, after he got dropped off a pro team, he was going to an event and the amateur portion of it. And I want to say he placed, I don't know, top 12, he placed really good, top 8, but it was Clayster.
mm-hmm.
And this was he ended up going under like T Fellow Enterprises or whatever, like they paid for themselves. But I was in the talks with him because I was trying to convince him to play under Unite one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't know what these guys want, but I was like, that will be insane. I said, I'll release the throwback jerseys. This is the jerseys that I'll give them. And I told him, I said, like, hey, listen, I'll give you the money that you're asking for, but all I want in return is a big photo shoot, whatever. I want you to wear the old original jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And, things fell through, but I'm like, that would have been insane. But that was something I was 100% worth risking that kind of money for. Cause I'm like,
Yep.
that's Clayster. That's a huge name.
Mm-hmm.
And, it sucks that it fell through, but I mean, like, again, it happens all the times. But when those teams come and they're like, "Hey, I want to play for you guys," and they're worth it, by all means, dump a couple thousand into them because you can get it on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's
know,
you got to trust your gut, and some people don't do that, and they're just say spontaneous, say, "Here's your money, go right ahead," or the people that don't know and are unexperienced, and people aren't guiding them. They'll see
yeah.
somebody on Twitter and be like, "Ooh, these guys are good. I could make some money off this. Here you go," and then they get burnt because of that, or
Yep.
they win something and they don't give anything back. Then you really get
Well,
burned.
the idea that we were doing with with that event in Clayster is obviously I looked into it and I was like, you know what? I said if I can get the apparel, if I can get the throwback apparel, and I emailed and I reached out to every sponsor known that I knew of.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Listen, like hey, this is what I have. This is the team. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
All right.
Drag me back in here.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave video settings. We're just going to go back to none. So I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it. My room's not messy. It's fine. Um so I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, listen, this is what I have. This is the team that I have. I said, this is a phenomenal team. I got Clayster coming in who wants to play. Wants to play. This is what I got. I said, this is what I'm offering you guys. I said, you guys want your, this is what I'm getting. I'm getting a photo shoot. I'm getting all this stuff. And I'm like, that's how you get the money for doing all of that back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you get a top team and you say, hey, you guys want your logo right here where everyone's going to see it, you're going to pay top dollar.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want it, you want it on the sleeve, that's cheaper, the back's cheaper, whatever, but that's how you make your money back.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to get to the point to where you have those connections.
Yep.
Because obviously no random team's going to be like, "Hey, Clayster, I'll give you $8,000. Here you go. This is what you want."
Mm-hmm.
I was willing to, but
It's just you got to have the experience, especially. I don't think anybody should go directly into owning a team. They should definitely work a management position before owning a team, which I didn't do, which I was stupid of doing that. I was young and dumb. What did I expect? Uh, but obviously, when I became a GM, honestly, Galaxy was kind of the same size of my team, so it kind of felt like I was doing the same thing for my team. But I don't think I'll get into esports management again unless it's a paid position, honestly. You got to pay me to do what I had to. I mean,
yo,
I was doing 4 hours of sleep a night. I'd get off doing homework. I took study hall in high school to sit on my phone and to recruit players. And people don't understand that. I took a class just so I could recruit players in high school. And that was diabolical. I should have never done it because I probably could have graduated a year early.
I I laugh about it too because a lot of people don't know about the amount of time that you have to put into everything. And when I say that, like TJ, he does a lot of the day-to-day stuff. He is all about the social media he's more specifically Twitter. He's the guy that's posting all of the graphics, the tweets, the retweets. Like that's his thing. And that takes up a lot of time too, because he's the guy that reaches out and talks to all of the different teams, the different players that want to play and content create for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the back end of things where I'm like, hey, this is, and that's where him and I get along quite well, is I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to focus on the videos and the content side of things where um, once a month, and actually it's coming up, I go through everybody's last couple weeks to try to find clips to put it on social media for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, dude, it takes so much time
Yeah, it's
to go through 30 different people's social media accounts to find the clips, then to edit them and then uploading them. Um, like I personally take care of the Instagram or the TikTok page for us,
mm-hmm.
the YouTube channel for us, and then my own two YouTube channels. And just doing that alone, it probably takes about a full week of my time, like 40 hours for one straight week of doing all that, then I'd be fine. And I'm
And
like,
not alone, you got a full-time job along with that as well.
yeah, so I do my 40 hours a week at the mechanic shop running that. Then I come home and each day I try to keep it the same schedule just because I like the routine of where I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you know what? I know Monday I can do this. Tuesday I got to take care of this, a little bit different. So my main job is the mechanic shop. My secondary job is reselling stuff, car parts, whatever it is that I can buy and sell. I buy cars, motorcycles, and I'll strip them down, sell the parts, do whatever. And then my third job, as what I consider, I'll say is because I don't make money for it at all. I lose money every
Mm-hmm.
every month. All the video gaming stuff,
Yep.
whether it's my channels or in control channels. And but it's like it's a lot. I mean, like I could sit there and I could if I could show you, I would, but I got a little whiteboard calendar over here and it says every day all the way through the month of June, what I got to do each day, what I got to take care of for all my different side businesses and everything else. But it's like I got to keep track. I got to keep track of it somehow. But
Yeah.
at least I set apart time and days to not do anything.
You can't get burnout. That's a big thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sticking to this year because I got big last year. I said that I'm streaming every day this year, no matter how long it is. So far, I've kept it up. I'm 6 months deep into this. I've streamed every day. I went on vacation to Tennessee, Gatlinburg, and Pigeon Forge. I streamed walking down the strip there. I held up my end of the bargain, and I still streamed. No matter that I was on like 17, 18 hours of sleep, I still did it. But people have to understand, like, you gotta have an off day. And like, I stream
Yeah.
every day because I want it. I want it in a bad way. I should probably take a day off, but I think that I gotta get bigger to take that day off, in my personal opinion.
My my philosophy and I say I take a day off, but I do a little bit of work here and there throughout the day, so it's never a full day off. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Oh yeah, me too.
I will put in 100-hour weeks to get to where I need to go and build everything up because I'm like, hey, you know what? I got to do it. It's like if I can't, this is actually, this has broken up me and my multiple exes because of this.
Mm-hmm.
They all got driving nuts that I worked so much because they're like, hey, do you just want to relax and watch some TV? And I'm like, no, no, I don't. I gotta do this. Um, I've had it to where they'd get driven nuts because back when I streamed, I don't do it anymore because I just generally don't have the time with everything else going on. I got enough time to record a couple videos where they used to just sit on the bed all day or bed all evening. And, then by the time I'm done, it's 10, 11 o'clock at night. They're knocked out. And I'm like, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I've always said like, hey, if you can do 1% more a day, if you can be 1% better a day, by the end of the year, you're farther ahead, a lot farther.
Oh yeah. And
But a lot of people don't understand that.
people, they just want to maintain, put it on cruise control, cruise through the year. But I'm like, now that I'm out of high school and like school, you got to think like all throughout when you're younger, you're getting better, you're learning more, you're increasing a grade, and you're working towards graduating. But if you graduate and then you don't go to college, well, and you just work like what I'm do. Well, if you graduate and then don't go to college, which what I did, and then go to work, you don't have anything to like build from there. Or if like say after you graduate college, I mean you can work for a higher position, like in your job, but say you're already at the
Yeah.
max. You, some people just want to hit cruise, or they get to where they want. They want to be a doctor, a vet, or anything. They just want to hit on cruise. This is what I want to be. I've got here. Put it on cruise control, right? That gets so
Well,
boring. What are you
yeah.
working towards? I mean, you're
Well,
making money. Are
let me
you
ask you this.
improving as like yourself? Like I lift, so that's another thing I'm improving on. I mean, I got my gaming, but like some people, I just don't understand how you can set it on cruise and then just not improve at all or work towards
Mhm.
something else. You just go through your
Or
life.
or they try to do it and they get so what's the word? They get so impatient
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, "Man, I haven't gotten this promotion. I've been working hard." It's like, "You've been working hard for 4 months." Like that's not working hard. Like that you're just starting.
Yeah.
But, it also kind of depends. Some people they do want to go to college. Some people don't. Some people think you need to go to college. Some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen people and I'm one of them. I have a finance degree. I have a bachelor's degree in finance from Purdue University.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do anything with my degree. I run a mechanic shop. I don't run the finances in it. I don't do anything with my degree. But I also know people like my brother, who my brother right out of high school went to working for security up until when he can get at the mills. Now he works in at the mills, and he just constantly climbs up and up and up to where now all he does is work night shifts, moves like 2 metal coils an hour, and then sleeps. It depends on what you want to do. I mean, like me personally, I don't ever want, I don't like being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I like the feeling of being uncomfortable. I don't want to relax. I don't want to just be comfortable and just kind of cruise it. And a lot of people nowadays they do. Where for me it's like I started out 7 years ago reselling stuff, selling and doing the cars and doing the parts and everything else, and I've been expanding in. That's one of the reasons why I can do what I do in Unite is because it never comes from my personal money, it comes from my business. And
Mm-hmm.
I separate those two very specifically for that reason. Where at the end of the day, I know all my bills are paid from my personal account. I have all this money in this business account that I can mess with.
Mm-hmm.
And once I get enough money, I'm like, hey, do I have the time to take on this next thing? Because if I do, and I have the time, and actually, I'm trying to remember what it was like the acronym was like team or something like that, and it was like time, energy, attention, and money. If you have all four of those, then it's a good idea. But if you have only 3 out of 4, anything under that, you're not going to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever want to settle down. And I don't mean that in relationships, but I don't want to ever settle down. Oh, it lasted longer than I thought. I'll figure out what's going on with that. Like, because I've never had the problem with this on. I've never had this problem before, but I don't know. So one day I plan to possibly buy out and or just run the mechanic shop
Mm-hmm.
and do everything else. Now, do I agree with everything that my uncle does? Absolutely not. Why? Because he's a lot older, he's old school, and he's set in his way. That's perfectly fine. That's how it got to where it's at now. No hate. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
Alrighty.
It's work. Sorry about that. Again, you're always on call.
Yep.
So I don't agree with how he does it, but he's the reason that the company is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
I will probably tell you offhand, the company probably makes anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million a year that it brings in.
Mm-hmm.
And we're only at full staff, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 people. But the thing about it is all 12 people can do everybody's job.
Yep.
I can fill in the front if I need to. I can fill in the back if I need to. I can fill in, I don't generally like to, but I can fill in doing some mechanical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it all flows. Hold on, give me a second. I can do a little bit of everything. Recently and now like my uncle, this business, it's been in our name, our last name since 1965 when it first opened.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle took over in about 1998 when his father died.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only job that my uncle's ever had. So he knows like the ins and outs of everything going on.
Yeah.
And he's like slowly teaching me as I'm going more and more. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, I love what I do. But I will always want to find a way to expand it, to make more money, to do more stuff. And for me, like you said, weightlifting wise, I love going to the gym. I love seeing the progressions.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what app you use to track all of it. I use Heavy.
Hmm. I just write. I'm an old school power lifter.
Oh
I
no,
carry
see,
around my old notebook. I get out, slam the pen down. It's full of chalk on my pen right
yeah.
now, and
So it's been a little while since I've worked out because I've been doing a lot of tattoo. I've been doing a lot of tattoo work,
hmm
but the reason that I love it is because it'll show you the progression over time of you're doing this routine and hey, this last week you did only this much, but now you're doing this.
hmm
And if you do more weights and more everything, it'll show you like, hey, this week you beat your last week's records. And it goes crazy. It's like, hold on, let
hmm
me
But like what you're talking about while you're finding that, I know exactly how you feel, especially with the mechanic shop, learning from my grandpa, taking it over old school. That you just explained my entire story, basically. Like that is exactly what I'm going through, and you have the exact mindset how I'm doing it, and it's like I want to grow. It's called the entrepreneur mindset. That's what it is. You want things to grow. That's why we have side businesses. That's why I
yep.
have content create. I got content creation, powerlifting, and then I got my job. I thought
Yeah,
about starting an esports team, but I'm like, that's way too much. And I said, I need to. You
way
gotta.
too
You
expensive.
can't focus on everything. Powerlifting, mine's at a minimum because I got my own home gym. Uh, so I don't have to pay membership. I mean, the only thing I really got to pay for is like going for meets. That's about
Okay.
it. And then like content creation, hell, I barely put any money into that besides like the videos. That's it. But it's you got to focus on everything. You can't have too much because then you can't focus on one thing. So that's why I said I don't want to do an esports team. That's starting something from the ground up again. That's something that's going to have to take time. I wrote it all out. And I sat there one day. I looked at it and I said, "Do I really have the time to take on something else right now?" No,
Yep.
I do not.
Well, that's why I told you. Remember, like, and you know what? I'll say it. My therapist told me this one time, and I'll be honest with you. I was always against therapy. I never wanted to do it, but after I got into it, it's like the best thing. I'm not on it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
because I was on it for quite a while, and he's like, "Hey, I think you're good now." I'm like, "All right." But he understood it, but he goes, "That's where I got that team from: time, energy, attention, and money." If you don't have all four of those, you shouldn't do whatever you're thinking about doing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have all four of those, it's going to fail. But so the reason I like the workout app is because you can go into the details. It'll tell you how long you were there,
Mm-hmm.
how many sets you did, and it'll even tell your total overall volume, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So my chest and tricep day, it even breaks down of like how your muscle splits. I did 54% arms, 41% chest, 5% shoulders, whatever. But what I love doing is I always tried to beat my last week's progression. And I'm like, boom, hey, this week I did 16,000 pounds in volume. This week I did 18.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to always beat it. And that's what I loved about working out is you always saw that progression where you're like, you always were able to see like, hey, I might not see it when I look in the mirror, but I know I did a little bit better this week.
Yep.
And a lot of people like that they might not look at it that way, but they don't, once they say like, "Hey, I don't see any progress in the mirror," I'm gonna stop doing it.
Yeah. That's.
You
Or they
know.
see like a few bad days in the gym where like they see everything's going good for them and then they have a couple bad
Mm-hmm.
days. And like
The
you're going to have bad weeks when in
Oh
lifting.
yeah.
You're going to have bad days. You're going to have PR days set where if you don't have competitions or stuff like that, you're going to go in, you're like, "Hell yeah, I'm going to beat my PR." And then you go in and then you don't even make your recent PR. You go below your PR. And you're thinking like, "I've worked this long and I didn't I dropped. I lost
Mm-hmm.
progress. And then they're like, I've wasted this much time of my life. I quit. I'm like, that could be a day. You don't know what your body is going through. Your body, I mean, you might feel good, but your body might not. And you got to
Yeah.
look at what you're putting in your body. I'm on a stable diet.
Yeah.
I'm on a stable diet when I have a meet coming up, if I'm like I think, yeah, 2 weeks out, you got to lock the fuck in. So I'm usually on a 5 to 6 day diet of a maintained diet, food diet, depending on if like right now, I just got off a cut and it's maintenance time for powerlifting. You're going to be on a maintenance diet. You cut in the spring, maintain during the summer, bulk in the winter, and then it restarts. But you got to think that what's going in your body, how'd you prep? Did you have I don't know. Did you have chocolate 3 days ago? It takes 2 days to digest something, 48 hours to digest something. That could still be in your system.
Yep.
Are you bloated? Did you drink a gallon of water? Are you hydrated? Are you not hydrated? There's so many factors that come into it. It's not just the lifting part. People think you just got to go
Yeah.
to the gym and that's it. No,
And
you got to the food that goes in your body, the water that goes in your body, how you treat your body. Hell, if you did yard work the day before, you're not ready for that.
yeah.
Your
You
body's going
know,
to be
and
sore and tired.
and there's a lot of days where I don't want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym.
Nope.
There's more days that I don't want. I'm like, dude, you know what? My bed feels really nice and comfortable today. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, if I don't go to the gym, I'm gonna hate myself. But there are days, and those are the days that I do end up resting when I go to the gym and I feel amazing, and then I start lifting weights, and then I just instantly crash, and I'm like, I feel like I'm about to throw up.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the days where I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take it easy today. I'm gonna go walk on the treadmill for a little bit, let everything settle down, and then I'm just gonna go home because at least I step foot in the gym.
Yep.
A lot of the times it depends, but it's also the same way with your with anything actually.
Mm-hmm.
Comes to streaming. Some days you're like, hey, I really don't want to stream, but I have to. You made the goal. I'm gonna stream 365 days out of 365 days. I don't care if it's for 5 minutes or if it's for 24 hours. I'm
Yeah.
going to stream that day, whether you want to or not. And a lot of people are like, I don't feel like doing it today. I'm not going to. But that's what sets people differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that might just be like, to me personally, it's like eating healthy. Your body reacts to exactly the way you eat. I used to eat McDonald's like 6 times a week. Why? Because it's right down the street and I loved it. But I felt like shit.
Yep.
And now I started doing something where like every month I'm trying to change up the diet a little bit and doing different things. And this month is actually just mainly the carnivore diet where it's all protein, it's all meat, it's all beef, eggs, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it's going to go. I just started it. It's going to be a wonderful. But it's like when I went from eat I remember when I went from eating the McDonald's all the time to a couple weeks, but I don't feel bad afterwards. But I remember what it was like almost like going through withdrawal.
Mm-hmm.
When you finally get off that bad food, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, I just feel like complete shit today. And I'm like, I don't even know why. The only thing I've done is not eat junk food.
Yep.
And I laughed about it now because I can go out and I'll eat a Big Mac and I won't feel bad about it afterwards because I'm like, hey, you know what? Once every couple weeks is not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, a lot of it comes down to, you know, how strong you are mentally. Because dieting in itself is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go to the gym 4 hours a day and just eat whatever the hell I wanted to all day. But like you said, and a lot of people know, you got to diet, you got to change your diet up. You know, you can't eat the same thing when you're bulking as when you're cutting
Yep.
because obviously when you're bulking, you want to eat more calories. You can eat a little bit more of a variety of things, and when you're cutting, you got to eat a lot less calories.
You might be eating on a bulk, you might be eating nuts, but on a cut, you don't want nuts. A handful of nuts are 300 calories. Hell,
Hmm.
that's a lot of calories just for that little bit of food. A mouthful of food, 300 calories? You don't
Yeah.
want that.
Now, like how many meals do you eat a day?
Let's see. Depends on the
Whether
day.
it's like snacks, whether it's snacks or just like in general.
I'll just go over my maintenance diet right now. So in the morning, I wake up, brush my teeth, immediately hit prunes because you got to get high fiber, especially when you're. I maintain around 220 grams protein. Wait, no, I changed it. I'm at 240 now. 240, 250 around there. Uh, you got to get fiber because if you're not, you're going to be constipated. So immediately you hit the prunes. If I have a workout, I go ahead and hit that workout, or I go and do some work, or I read my daily 10 pages of a book. I hit that, and then after that, I do my breakfast casserole. I have a breakfast casserole that I make. Then after that, I have I make my own Chipotle bowl. So I got that for lunch, and then as soon as I come home, I make like a grilled cheese burrito, kind of. So I make you eat two of those. So there's one, and then I do something, eat another one, and then I got my protein shake. So I eat about 6 times a day. If I'm hungry, I might eat the prunes and breakfast casserole together, or I might eat the grilled cheese burritos together, or eat the protein shake and the grilled cheese burrito together. I mean, it really changes day to day, but it kind of keeps your metabolism going. Um, but I don't know.
Something I used to live on like religiously, and you're gonna laugh because it's like the most basic thing for people that used to go to the gym is just chicken, broccoli, and rice.
Yep.
I used to live on that religiously, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'd be like, boom, what are you eating today? I got the same thing I've been eating for the last 6 weeks. It's like it's easy, it's cheap, and I don't really care how it tastes. I'll throw some salt, pepper on it, whatever
My
spices,
favorite,
and be
some
fine
hot
with it.
sauce and
Yeah. Oh,
0 calorie
I
hot sauce is the best thing for powerlifters. Anything zero
I
calorie, mustard, hot sauce. Obviously, when you're on a cut and you got to make weight, you
oh my
do.
God. One sec. Yeah, when you gotta so again, part of we do impounds and everything else, and after hours, some days I take the phones and I do dispatching for them and whatnot. So I always got to take those calls. But
But yeah, uh,
I loved it. I loved hot sauce on it. Something I do a lot because I used to I used to cook it all individually in like pots, and
hmm
I just bake it, like put it in the oven, let it go. I put a bunch of lemon slices all over it, so it got that like sweetness from it. Oh my God, I was like sitting there, I was like, man, I'm about to be Gordon Ramsay up in here with how much I'm cooking this stuff. It was so good though.
I will say as a
But it
lifter, you do get pretty good at a cook. You get very experienced. If you are dedicated to the gym, you will become a great fucking cook. Because hell, I'm
You
making
have to be. You
I
have to be.
nicknamed it. I mean, it was a recipe I seen online, but I nicknamed it grilled cheese burrito because I don't have the where I'm from. They don't sell like the big burritos for like low calorie, so you got to get the tiny burritos that are lower calorie, and then all the filling doesn't fit in the burrito. So then when it comes out, when it's in the skillet to brown it, it like crusts on the outside, so it's crunchy. So
Okay.
it's like the grilled cheese burrito from Taco Bell, and it doesn't taste exactly like it, but it's still pretty damn good.
I used to when I was in college, and when I was in college, I didn't really work too much. I just did my own business. I went to college and I
Mm-hmm.
spent 4 hours a day at the gym. I used to do a lot of, I don't want to say it was dirty bulking, but it pretty much was. We had a Taco Bell right across the street from the gym, And so I would always walk up to the door, grab a Propel protein drink. I'd leave. I'd be drinking that. I'd drive across the street, go get a bunch of chicken tacos from the Taco Bell, and then drive home. And I'm sitting there just eating all these tacos and everything else. So I'm like, dude, I was like, I'm looking back on it now. I'm like, probably wasn't the like most money efficient thing, but
Hmm.
I'm like, they make some really good food back then. But it all depends on what you're into. You
Yeah.
know, I've seen and how much money you want to spend. My mother, she's very big into going to the gym and working out. She doesn't lift a lot of weights, obviously, because she's 62. But like she eats healthier than I am, and she's got all her meals planned out. She'll eat salmon like 3 times a week, all these different meals. She'll go out and have a big ass steak, and I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times it just depends on as long as you're counting everything. You
Hmm.
count everything. You stay within you maintain your calories, the proteins, everything else. You're like done.
Yeah.
You can eat whatever you want as long as you stay within that. But that again comes down to taking dedication.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are like, I don't really care. I'm just gonna eat this because I like it. But then they're like, 8 weeks later, when you're supposed to see results and some your first changes, they're like, I don't see anything.
Yeah. But I know what you mean, but to where we're at now, we definitely have to cut it off. We're at an hour 20. I appreciate you coming on, man. But obviously, you're going to be on for a part two at some point. I said I'm not doing part twos with anybody, but since we're doing a big group with everybody, it's going to be a part two. So there will still be more. And even if we want to do another one, because I had great time
You
talking to
just
you.
let me know. You just let me know.
The
I'll
lifting,
move
the
around.
shot, bro. Fuck yeah, we can talk for
That's
hours
why
on
I
that.
laughed. Listen, that's why I laughed because I'm like, you're sitting there. I'm like, you're like, you live in Indiana. I'm like, okay, well, I live in Indiana. So does Brian. You're like, my family owns a mechanic shop. It's like, yes, so does mine. I was like, God, it's a small world.
Yep.
Um, so it'll be fun. Just to reference it, so for future reference though, is the town that I was talking about. That's like one of the worst cities in the area.
Would
It's
be
Gary.
Gary. Yep.
Yes. That is not only where the mechanic shop is at, that's where I work at. I live probably within like 5 minutes of it.
I knew when you were talking about north, far north, and
Yep.
Bad City, I'm like,
Hmm.
Gary.
Yes, everybody knows of Gary, Indiana. If you're from Indiana, it is not that it is a rough place. I'm not going to say it's horrible. There are some nice parts of Gary, but it's a rough place.
Oh yeah.
But
Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on. It's been a
yep.
pleasure having you on. Is there any socials you'd like to plug? That you can get out.
The only ones that you can if I would say is just in control. In control, I want to say it's like in control GG. I don't know. I don't take care of that one
Yep. In
anymore.
control GG.
Yeah, in control GG. We're doing a lot of big stuff there. We're hopefully having some more teams coming up and everything else, and some more content creators. So that's all I would say to stay tuned on, because I'm hoping the next couple weeks, next couple months, some big stuff happens.
Hell yeah. I appreciate everybody coming by. You guys know where to find me, Real Blue Star Gaming on everything besides Twitter because they think Real Blue Star Gaming is too long for some reason. So it's underscore Real Blue Star underscore. L Twitter, by the way. But I appreciate everybody coming by. Make sure to check out him and In Control because I'm a content creator for them. So obviously check them out because if you're helping them, you're kind of helping me at the same time. So I appreciate
Yeah.
everybody coming by. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.
See ya.